My friend, you have come to me with a question that lies coiled like a serpent at the heart of many a human life. It is a seductive question, whispered in moments of fatigue and doubt. It asks, how can I find satisfaction by lowering my standards? It promises a gentle peace, an end to striving, a quiet harbor of contentment. It sounds like wisdom, like a secret to happiness that the ambitious have somehow missed. But I must speak to you plainly as a friend to a friend. This idea, this notion of finding fulfillment through the deliberate reduction of one's own aspirations, is one of the most potent and destructive poisons that can ever be introduced into the human mind. It is not a path to satisfaction, it is a gilded path to the graveyard of quiet desperation. It is the anesthetic that dulls the pain of a life unlived, not the elixir that gives you the strength to truly live it. Let us examine this proposition under the bright, unwavering light of reason. What does it truly mean to lower your standards? It means to look at the magnificent, towering peak of your own potential and to consciously decide that you will make your camp in the foothills. It means to be a captain of a great vessel, capable of circumnavigating the globe, who chooses to sail only in the familiar, shallow waters of the local bay. It is an act of surrender. It is a preemptive declaration of defeat, made not in the face of an enemy, but in the face of an opportunity. And I ask you, where is the satisfaction in that? Where is the joy in a contest that you have forfeited before the starting gun has even fired? The human spirit was not designed for surrender. It was forged in the fires of challenge, tempered in the waters of adversity, and finds its truest expression not in ease, but in the glorious struggle of overcoming. To lower your standards is to betray the very essence of that spirit. It is to tell the divine architect within you that his grand designs are too ambitious, that his materials are too weak. It is an insult to your own soul. Consider the law of the mind, which is as immutable as the law of gravity. Whatever you hold in your consciousness, you tend to create in your experience. What then is the dominant thought you are holding when you decide to lower your standards? It is a thought of limitation. It is a thought of inadequacy. It is the belief, I am not capable of achieving more. You are, in effect, sending a direct, unequivocal command to your subconscious mind, that faithful and tireless servant. You are instructing it to produce for you a reality of mediocrity. Your subconscious, which cannot distinguish between a positive and a negative command, will dutifully set about its work. It will close your eyes to opportunity. It will dull your intuition. It will fill your mind with plausible excuses and justifications for your inaction. It will make you feel comfortable in your apathy. And soon enough, your outer world will perfectly mirror the lowered standard you have set in your inner world. You will have succeeded in achieving your new, lower goal, but at what cost? You will have murdered the giant within you in order to live comfortably with the pygmy. Is this the satisfaction you seek, or is it merely the absence of the noble ache of growth? The great lie behind this philosophy of lowered standards is that ambition is the source of our unhappiness. It suggests that our desires torment us and that by extinguishing them, we will find peace. But this is a profound misdiagnosis of the human condition. The source of our dissatisfaction is not the size of our ambition. It is the absence of a definite plan and unwavering faith in its attainment. It is the anguish of having a great desire without a corresponding belief in our ability to fulfill it. It is the pain of wanting to reach the distant shore, but having no boat, no oars, and no knowledge of navigation. The man who suffers is not the one with a great goal, but the one with a great goal and a weak will. The solution, therefore, is not to shrink the goal to match the will. The solution, the only solution worthy of a human being, is to strengthen the will to match the goal. The satisfaction you crave does not lie at the bottom of the mountain. It is found in the exhilaration of the climb itself, in the strengthening of your muscles, in the sharpening of your wits, in the expansion of your spirit with every upward step. So let us cast aside this flawed and feeble notion of lowering our standards. Let us instead embrace a philosophy of raising our life to meet our highest visions. You do not want less from life. You want to become more so that you can rightfully claim the magnificent rewards life holds for its victors. And this brings us to the first and most foundational principle of all achievement. You must have a definite chief aim. You must replace your vague wishes and your timid hopes with a single, burning, all-consuming obsession. This is not about lowering your standard. It is about defining it with such brilliant crystal clarity that it illuminates your entire being. What is the one great thing you desire to be, to do, or to have? Do not be modest. Do not be realistic in the way the world understands that word, which is merely a synonym for limited. Dare to choose a goal so big it frightens you, a goal so noble it inspires you, a goal so compelling that the thought of it sets your soul on fire. Great success is always preceded by a great purpose. A high standard is not your enemy. It is the magnet that will pull you up from the mire of mediocrity. It is the North Star that will give you direction in the darkest of nights. A person with a great and definite purpose does not need to lower their standards to find peace. Their purpose is their peace, their power, and their driving force. Now, you may say, "But Mr. Hill, I have a high standard, a great goal, and it is precisely this that is making me miserable. The gap between where I am and where I want to be is a chasm of despair." I understand this feeling completely, and I am here to tell you that you are standing before a great opportunity. This gap, this tension, is the very wellspring of creative energy. Your task is not to eliminate the tension by lowering the goalpost. Your task is to build a bridge across that chasm. And that bridge is built with two materials, a definite plan and unshakable faith. Let us first speak of the plan. A great goal without a plan is a mere hallucination. It is a source of anxiety because your mind cannot see the path from here to there. You must sit down with your definite chief aim, and with your imagination as your chief engineer, you must create a definite plan for its attainment. Break your great goal down into a series of smaller, logical, achievable steps. What is the very first thing you need to do? What knowledge must you acquire? Who must you enlist for help? Write it all down. Create a map. A person with a map, even if the journey is long and arduous, feels a sense of control and purpose. He is no longer lost in the wilderness of wishing. He is an organized traveler on a definite path. The satisfaction you seek will not appear in a flash when you reach your final destination. It will be found in the daily, weekly, monthly accomplishment of the small steps in your plan. Success, my friend, is not a destination. It is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. It is the satisfaction you feel tonight because you did the things you said you would do today in your plan. The man who is executing a definite plan to achieve a high standard is one of the most satisfied people on earth. But a plan, no matter how brilliant, is merely a lifeless blueprint until it is animated by the second element, faith. Faith is the head chemist of the mind. It is the power that transforms the thought impulse of your desire into its spiritual equivalent, which in turn guides the forces of the universe to create its physical counterpart. The despair you feel in the gap between your current reality and your high standard is a symptom of a lack of faith. You have accepted the evidence of your senses, what you see, what you hear, what your bank balance tells you as the final reality. But the great achievers of this world, the men who have shaped our civilization, were men who possessed the ability to see with the eyes of faith. They held the vision of their completed purpose in their minds with such conviction that it became more real to them than their present circumstances. They knew with a certainty that transcended logic that what the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve. You must build this faith within yourself deliberately, systematically, and persistently. You must use the principle of auto-suggestion. You must take your written statement of purpose and your plan, and you must read it aloud twice daily, morning and night. And as you read, you must see, feel, and believe yourself already in possession of your completed goal. You must silence the voice of doubt that says, "It's not possible." You must bombard your subconscious mind with the new, powerful message of faith. In the beginning, this requires effort. It requires a disciplined will. But with repetition, a new habit of thought is formed. The seed of faith, once planted, will begin to grow, and it will push out the weeds of fear and doubt. When your faith becomes the dominant force in your consciousness, the despair you once felt will be replaced by a calm, powerful, and joyous expectancy. You will know that the attainment of your high standard is not a matter of if, but only a matter of when. This, my friend, is the true peace that passes all understanding. It is the satisfaction of a soul aligned with its own highest purpose and with the infinite power that created it. Now, let me make a critical distinction here, for this is where much confusion lies. When I say, do not lower your standards, I am speaking of your ultimate purpose, your standard of character, your standard of effort. I am not speaking of your plans. Your plans must be flexible. You must be willing to change your plans at a moment's notice. The general who insists on adhering to his original battle plan, even when the terrain has changed and the enemy has moved, is a fool destined for defeat. A temporary defeat is not a failure. It is simply a signal from the universe that your current plan is unsound. The man who lowers his ultimate standard in the face of a setback is the man who mistakes a detour for a dead end. The man who will succeed is the one who says, my destination remains the same, but I must now find a new road. He seeks the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit that is hidden in every adversity. He learns, he adapts, he creates a new plan, and he presses on with renewed vigor and intelligence. So do not confuse lowering your standards with the wisdom of changing your strategy. One is an act of surrender, the other is an act of masterful command. Furthermore, let us be clear about the nature of the standards we are setting. If your standards are purely materialistic, a bigger house, a faster car, more possessions than your neighbor, then, yes, you may well be setting yourself up for a life of dissatisfaction, for these are hollow goals. They are the standards set not by your soul, but by the shallow suggestions of a consumer culture. These desires can never be truly satisfied, for they are a bottomless pit. There will always be a bigger house, a faster car, but if your standard is one of service, of personal growth, of creative expression, of building a business that adds real value to the world, becoming a person of unshakable character and integrity, these are standards that bring their own reward in the very striving. The satisfaction of becoming a better, stronger, wiser person is a treasure that no external circumstance can ever take away from you. The man whose standard is to become the best physician he can be finds joy in every patient he helps, in every new medical journal he studies. The joy is in the becoming. So I ask you, examine your standards. Are they standards of having or standards of being? Lowering the former may be wise, but lowering the latter is the ultimate act of self-destruction. The man who chooses the path of high purpose will also need a quality that the man of lowered standards has no use for: persistence. Persistence is the iron quality of the soul that distinguishes the winner from the quitter. It is the ability to withstand temporary defeat without being defeated. The journey to a high goal will be filled with obstacles. There will be criticism. There will be setbacks. There will be moments when all seems lost. In these moments, the philosophy of lowered standards will whisper in your ear, "See, it was too hard. Just give up. Be satisfied with less. This is the great test." The person of weak will and unfocused desire will heed this whisper, but the person whose purpose has become a burning obsession will silence it with action. He will get up one more time than he is knocked down. He will know, as the great Thomas Edison knew, that he is not failing, he is simply discovering ways that do not work. This persistence, this sheer dogged refusal to quit, builds a sense of self-respect and personal power that is in itself one of the most profound forms of satisfaction a human being can experience. It is the knowledge that, come what may, you will not be broken. What worldly contentment can compare to this inner certainty? Finally, you do not have to walk this challenging path alone. One of my greatest discoveries was the power of the Mastermind Alliance. You must form a friendly alliance with one or more people who are in sympathy with your high purpose, who will encourage you and hold you accountable. When you choose to lower your standards, you will find you have many companions. Misery and mediocrity love company. The world is full of people who will gladly congratulate you on your sensible decision to give up on your dreams. They do this because your ambition was a mirror that reflected their own inaction, and your surrender relieves them of their discomfort. But if you hold fast to a high standard, you must carefully choose your associates. You must surround yourself with others who are also climbing their own mountains. In a mastermind group, you create a synergy of faith. When your belief wavers, theirs will support you. When their plan fails, your insight may provide a solution. The spiritual and mental power generated by a group of minds working in perfect harmony toward a definite high purpose is a force that can overcome any obstacle. And the satisfaction of sharing the journey, the struggles, and the ultimate triumph with trusted allies is one of the richest experiences life has to offer. So, we come to a choice. The path of lowered standards offers a certain kind of ease. It is the peace of the still pond, which eventually grows stagnant. The path of high standards demands effort, it demands faith, it demands courage. But it offers the deep, thrumming satisfaction of the mighty river, a force of nature that carves canyons and generates power as it rushes toward the great ocean. You stand before these two paths. You cannot walk them both. Which will you choose? Will you accept the popular notion that happiness is found in having less, wanting less, and being less? Or will you embrace the eternal truth that true, lasting, and profound satisfaction is a byproduct of the journey toward becoming everything you were meant to be? Do not lower your standards. Instead, raise your faith, raise your discipline, raise your persistence, define your purpose in letters of fire, create a definite plan and act upon it today. Look upon every obstacle as a lesson and every setback as a setup for a comeback. You have within you right now a sleeping giant of potential. The idea of lowering your standards is a lullaby designed to keep that giant asleep. I am here to sound the alarm clock. Wake him up. Give him a mountain to climb. The satisfaction you will feel as you watch him ascend, stronger with every step, will be 1,000 times more profound than the shallow contentment of the man who never even dared to leave the valley.